Hello again. This time now I would like to show you the best free from keto wrap mix. It's a dry mix for wraps. It's a 150-gram dry mix. First I may just give you the ingredients. So it has egg white powder in it, oat fiber, which is not to be mistaken with oat flour. So oat fiber is 0 carbs and zero calories. It also has whole psyllium husk in it, baking powder and Himalayan salt. On the back of the package you will find the instructions and the nutrition facts, and this dry mix makes you wraps like these. Now I think I got 20 here or 22, but one pack of wrap mix makes you 10-12 wraps, as I mentioned that before. And I'm just going to quickly tell you what you need to add to it. So you will need a bag of dry mix, and then you will need 750 ml of warm water, 200 grams mascarpone, cream cheese. You could use Philadelphia if you wanted to. I find mascarpone is a little bit better. It has a tiny bit lower carbs. It's not as salty, and it's definitely cheaper than Philadelphia. But if you haven't got the mascarpone, you can use the Philadelphia. If you wanted to make this mix dairy free, you could. So instead of the 200 grams cream cheese, you can just increase the water, so add an extra 200 milliliter of water. So instead of the 750 ml, you can use 950 ml warm water. The wraps will work. It will taste a little bit different. It will also feel a little bit different, and obviously your carb counts and nutrition info will be a little bit different, but it's doable. And another thing I wanted to mention, so when you mix this all together, it becomes a really thick batter. You need to let this sit for 15 minutes at least, so it can thicken up, so the fiber can absorb the liquid and it can thicken up for you. If you find it's a little bit too thick, you can add another 3 to 4 tablespoons of warm water to the mix to make it a little bit thinner, but really only do maybe 1 tablespoon at a time. Keep stirring your batter so you won't end up with all the thickness at the bottom of the mixture at the end when you just have one portion left. So keep mixing it as you're baking it. Another little trick with this is you need to bake these wraps on high heat, but it's a lot easier to pour the batter into a not too hot skillet. So what I usually do, so I take one off and then I have my skillet. You need to oil the skillet every time in between every single wrap. You don't need to use much. Use a non-stick skillet pan, so it's a lot easier that way. But you need to oil it in between every one of them. So I take it off, take the ready baked wrap out, and then I would just kind of wave my pan around to let it cool down a little bit. Then I oil it, and then I pour my next batch of batter into it. If the pan is too dry, too hot, your wrap starts to cook straight away, and so it actually starts rolling up in the pan as you're trying to get it around in the pan. So pour it into not too hot pan, but then place it on high heat, because it needs high heat to cook, and you should only really cook it for a short amount of time. So do the high heat and maybe a minute on each side maximum, rather than going on low heat and cooking it for longer. So if you cook it too long, the wrap's gonna be really dry, sort of, they will even crack, but they won't cook properly truly in the middle. So that's a little trick there for you. I want to give you a little bit of nutrition info regarding to the wraps. So it obviously applies to one wrap based on if you made 12 wrap per pack. So there's 110 calories in a wrap, 7 grams of fat. It has 1 gram net carb in total. The total carbs are 6, and there's 5 grams of fiber, so that makes it up 1 gram net carb. It has 7 grams of protein in it, and you can find it on the website, which is www.thebestfreefrom.com. There's another little idea what you could use with this, what you could do with this wrap, what we use it, or what I use it for. So when you make the 12 of them, you need to keep them in the fridge. So there's no preservatives in these mixes. So everything what you make with these mixes sort of have to be stored in the fridge. Or you can freeze them. So you can either wrap them individually and freeze them that way and just take them out as you go. Or the other option, what I really like with this, I use it as a pasta alternative. So what I do is I just literally roll up my wrap and then get a real sharp knife and cut it into sort of like a tagliatelle pasta. You can see the video on my YouTube. There's a little video on how to make the whole thing, so how to make the wraps and also how to use it as a pasta alternative. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I will be back with a little bit more. Thank you. Bye.